Hello and welcome. So I'm really excited. I've wanted to dive into this for quite some time, and it's my own study on Black Moon Lilith and Venus. So right now, Venus is in the sign of Gemini. So with Black Moon Lilith in the fourth house, this is indicating that our thoughts, our expression might have been hampered down by some person in our life in our early formative years who embedded us with a lot of programming that needs to be deleted and needs to be removed. With Venus currently at 9 degrees Gemini, it will soon conjoin the Sun. And we know that with Western astrology, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Virgo is meant to be the higher octave of Mercury. However, with Sensei Chris Witecki's step system, Virgo is ruled by Chiron. So now we're looking at two different elements of the wound and then romance, self-confidence, value. So in our lives, how have you been wounded in your confidence based on your perception of the world, the ways that you saw reality, the ways that you felt about yourself in reality, the ways that you might have encountered various people who were in a role of authority who didn't really carry it well? They had a chip on their shoulder, they had prejudice that they weren't afraid to exercise. So in healing this, we are in the third decan of Virgo. So this means it's the outer world. We're making decisions in the outer world based on our feelings and not necessarily the feelings of others. We know what we want to take with us and what we're ready to leave behind. So what I just got is like, if you were harvesting cherries from a tree and you have your bucket, you would know that the cherries that have some, nibbles from the birds are something that you can leave for them. It's not going to be something that you take home and you would really want to eat, because we know that birds consume all kinds of bugs. We don't want any of that, unless if you do. That's up to you. So with Venus being the ruler of Taurus and Libra, with also Sensei's step with techie system, Taurus is ruled by the planet of Earth. So yes, Tauruses are Venusian, they like nice things, but we could also relate that to the qualities of this planet, of the material realm. So Venus at 9 degrees is actually giving a very Aryan nature, so it's like the Mars energy, what we are willing to kind of claim and stake as our own and fight for within our identity, within our thought realm. Gemini is naturally the third house, so it rules talent, siblings, communications, how we learn to express ourselves and to gain interest from our siblings growing up. If you grew up as an only child, how did you play with your toys? How did your parents treat you? Did you have cousins? Did you have friends that you attached to as if they were a sibling? And then for those of my Geminis who have a twin, how did you two relate? What was that dynamic? Did you have a twin language? I had sisters. They had to go to a speech pathologist because they were being a little, tricky and switching classes and, having their twin language where they would just do stuff and no one could really intervene because they had such a tight bond. So with Black Moon Lilith allowing for us to reclaim those parts of ourselves, it's allowing for us to leave what we don't want from the world, from what we see presented to us. So that could be anything from like, a buffet to a gardening party. Like you see a buffet lined out and you know that you just want some fresh bread. You're good on everything else. You'd like extra lime in your juice and your seltzer water, but you're good on everything else. And what we're willing to do to stake that and to really stand up for our thinking, for our ways of thinking that really are serving and life affirming. So let's get a couple channeled messages, because Mars will move out of its conjunction to Chiron on the 31st, Sacred Soul Sister. So who have you connected with? And that is 37 netting to a 10, so it does speak to this earthly energy. And it might help because Venus is in Gemini to look at Mercury. Mercury at 24 degrees Taurus, let's see what that is. A man with no mouth. So this is in my 2 deep dives with the daily astrology from the Sun at 8 degrees Gemini and 9 degrees Gemini. You guys probably can't hear this playing as loudly as I can. Nothing to say, everything to do. The self cannot be articulated because it's far too busily pressed out into emergency mobilization 24 hours a day. No personal life, no personal world, no personal self. Just fantastic availability to the call, the collective vigil, entered upon willingly and selflessly. So you're like turning yourself in for all the times that you had to kind of pass on that. You had to go with the rules. You had to follow this figure. The fourth house is the house of the home, the mother, the family. I have a lot of placements there that are not in exaltation. So it's something that we have to really nurture and work through. And let's see the exact aspect. Black Moon Lilith is trining Mercury. Black Moon Lilith is trining Jupiter. It's trining Uranus, which is in Taurus at 24 degrees. And then what's it doing with Venus? No aspect? So it's not forming an aspect, Venus and Black Moon Lilith, but that's air and earth energy. So if we want to think of a combination of earth and air, immediately my thought goes to a tornado, because it's like, where have we been caught in cycles, and how has that just kicked up dust and depleted our sense of authenticity, our nutrients that we get from being ourselves, the nutrients and the oxytocin that comes from connecting together in community with people who can hold us and who can hold space for our genuine energy. All right, so you are so hard-pressed, so rapidly attentive that nothing else exists. The assignment is clear, brutally so. Be on the spot at every level, maintain order, keep everything going, and stay tuned to everything unusual and strange. Follow it out, keep it in your sights, and make absolutely sure that you stay sober, integrity sworn, and minutely diligent to hold the center and uphold the law with a steadfastness that is beyond belief, simply true. So, Black Moon Lilith at 26 degrees Virgo. And then we'll read the Sacred Soul Sister card. An old man counting gold coins, getting your bearings, determining your limits, finding a reality fix, making sure that everything is there, checking out the manifest details over and again, coming down to earth and becoming sober, straight, and clear. You are overwhelmingly convinced that there must come this cleaning up and clearing up, sick and tired of pretense and hype. I would say that this is where the healing is. It's that being sick and tired of pretense and hype around this need to come down to earth and become sober, straight, and clear. It's like, yes, you have this identity that you were assigned, but you're really tired of all the stuff that comes with that. Hungry to get down to basics and somewhat hooked on the quantitative intelligence, blurring distinctions, intent upon being viable, correct, and self-sufficient. If all these things are taken up with a twinkle of humor, they are digestible. But if they become self-serious and a little too proper, they are deadly and sickening. You learn to throw off the attitude and cleave to the substance of getting things right, unapologetically and steadfastly. So, Sacred Soul Sister, 37, speaking to belief and intuition. Do you believe in your intuition? Does your intuition have the autonomy to lead you and guide you, at least to start looking at things that you would otherwise pass up on? That's what the sun at 10 degrees Gemini is going to ask for us to do, is not to just pass up on the things that we're perceiving, but to really open up and explore them. Sacred Soul Sister, when you are conscious, a cloud of sadness surrounds you. When you are beyond consciousness, the moon rests in your arms. When you are conscious, the beloved moves out of your reach. When you are beyond consciousness, the ecstasy of love moves your way. When you are conscious, you are depressed like fall. When you are beyond consciousness, the winter cold feels like spring. All your wavering is due to your longing to be stable. Look for instability until you become stable. Okay, so let's see. Okay, the oracle comes with a particular guidance. You know something deep in your bones without knowing how or why, or without particular reason. You just know. It doesn't make sense, but you know. It may be joy that you know. It may be that you know to avoid a certain situation. It may be that something is going to work out beautifully, despite appearances to the contrary at a particular moment. It may be that you are meant to take a certain path. You just know. This oracle comes as confirmation that your knowing, mysterious as it is your sacred soul sister talking through you. Trust and act, or not, accordingly. So I feel this right now, because if you guys can look at my recent video uploads, you'll see that I had a sprint of a week's worth of content that got hundreds and thousands of views. But at the moment, there's a small handful of you guys who are still with me. Thank you all for being here. And it's one of those things where I'm did I do something wrong? Did I speak about something that YouTube doesn't want me to do? Did I not upload? I know I did that because I had to take a week off to travel. But I feel that understanding and knowing that whoever's here right now is the core of the people who are meant to be seeing me is really amazing. It's really amazing that you guys are showing up for yourselves, that I'm showing up for you all. We're a community and we're working together. But it's one of those things where I just know that if I start to give up, then I would lose this grappling that I have within myself to question one pillar that Krista Marie Miller channeled from Mary Magdalene is just fear. I took notes. Let me pull that up exactly. But it spoke to being afraid and asking what our fears are really about. Because for me, it's am I afraid that if I don't have an audience and I don't feel seen that I can't continue? Would I give up if everyone stopped showing up, no one was watching my work? Or would I be able to persevere? And then actually being honest and recognizing that fear and being able to sit with it rather than just, push it off, not acknowledge it, ignore it, pretend like it doesn't matter. That's something that my sacred soul sister is asking me to believe in my intuition to just keep going. So what is that applying to for you in your life? Okay, let's see. Safety and sharing and pain and shame. So, when we have pain and we're ashamed of what we have to say, what our truth is, sometimes we don't speak it because we feel like the pain is too much. It's not appealing. It's not sexy. It can't sell. But I feel that when we start looking down the line, 50 years into the future, this will still be available. So if you feel invisible right now, whenever you're watching this, if it's in a year's time, if it's in 50 years' time, just know that, yes, there is a level of that whenever there's something new. But just like a baby in the womb, if the baby felt invisible to the world and decided to not, oh, I can't do it, I'm not going to come, that would be so devastating to a community of people waiting for that child to come out. So how can you continue to nurture and protect yourself through this gestation period? Because truly, where I'm at, I haven't even made 100 videos. So it's after we've made 100 of something, I believe we have a foundation, we have a base, and then we continue. And my goal for this year on May 30th is 1,000 videos. So the motivation has to be uplifting enough for me to take steps forward, but I also have to be present and celebrate this recording, this teaching, specifically this one, because this has been one that's been brewing for a while, is looking at Venus and Black Moon Lilith and having them work together. So I hope that this brief message served you. I have a lot of content available for June, timeless messages too that you could tap into, some sound baths. I have some music that is coming. I'm really excited. I connected with Mark Cavelli, one of my friends. I think he's a Gemini. I'm pretty sure he's a Gemini, but he's someone who I knew back in my Brooklyn days. We worked for a coconut company together, and now this is all I drink is premium Thai coconut water. So have a fabulous day. May your soul sister, that creative intelligence in you, motivate you to continue bearing down, being 10 toes down for what you got going on, because it's going to be worth it. Aloha.